Alright, so this video is really meant to make it easy for you in making a decision whether you should use Ezybonds. Chances are you're watching this video because you're considering using Ezybonds as a money transmitter. And if you are considering to use Ezybonds to send money or receive money worldwide, pay close attention to what you're about to hear, because this information is really going to help you decide whether Ezybonds is worth the risk and could actually save you from entering a world of headache. When you come to Ezybonds, when you go to the About Us page, you're not going to see who the owner's name is. And I think this is done there's quite an intention there. The owner's name is Allan Endresz, and you won't find that anywhere on their website. And I stress that, and I invite you to ask yourself why that is. And I think the reason why is because Allan Endresz is well known actually in Australia as being a litigator, but also a troublemaker, and the people who have done business with Allan Endresz and his whole family have found themselves at financial ruin, some problems with their business, terrible management. In fact, back in 1998, they were banned actually from conducting business, and they fought it and fought it and fought it, and ultimately they were banned to do business until 2021. So for Allan Endresz to actually be owning any website, any business, or conducting any kind of money transfer service, it's actually right in the lines of he's doing that illegally. And that's something that's important for you to learn. So if you go ahead and search for his name in the court, you can see that he's got pages of history where people have been fighting him for one thing or another. And a lot of the times you can just read through these reports, and I highly urge you and suggest that you do. You can see that Allan Endresz in court has a history of lying and weaseling his way through certain situations, and then having some strange counterclaims against the person who's coming after him. And that's something that you really need to pay close attention to with that, because it could happen to you, it could happen to anybody. If you're using Ezybonds and he decides that he's going to give you a hard time with the money or getting access to your money, then he could come after you with a strange counterclaim or make it publicly known of his claim against you, which is absolutely unfounded. Same thing that goes on in each of these his whole court history. Even recently, as of July 29th, 2014, it was ordered that Allan Endresz's estate be sequestrated, and he basically forced into bankruptcy. And then he, of course, had to pay the fees for bringing him to court as well. So this is about money. He wasn't paying a fine. He had a bad credit, basically, with the government, not paying his fees for breaking the law, for misconduct, breaking corporate laws in Australia. And he was stubborn and belligerent and totally unwilling to comply with authorities, to the point where they had to actually take him to court repeatedly to get this matter resolved. And finally they've been able to get that resolved after all of this time. Finally there's an end here for them. And like I said earlier, I want to make this as short and succinct as possible, so I'm not really going to spend a lot of more time on this subject. But I invite you to review all of his court history and all of his criminal history and see that this is a man who, if he was to work for a bank or something like that, or try to get a job somewhere to manage money, he would be denied for the job. He would not be able to be successful through obtaining that job. So as a money transmitter yourself, if you're wanting to use this service, keep that in mind and say, you know what, I don't want to hire Allan Endresz to manage my money. I'm going to go elsewhere. Now, with Ezybonds, you'll notice that there's some interesting things. One of the things that I felt was pretty nice was that it says that it's fast, safe, and inexpensive. And what kind of drew me in is that my own business has a revenue sharing model. And so with that promise of receiving shared revenue as an Easy merchant, I felt this was going to be another really great way to increase the amount of revenues that I have to share with people that are sharing revenues within my own business model. And then also referral commissions. I felt that was going to be a really fantastic way for me to refer people to use another payment processor that a lot of people weren't using, and then that would help me increase the amount of revenues that I have to share with my customers and the people that are involved with my business. But unfortunately, what had happened is it didn't. People didn't have that safe, fast experience. Another thing to keep in mind with Ezybonds is they claim that there are 16 million users of Ezybonds, or 32 million. I've heard it both ways. And the very fact is the daily unique visitors on the website is actually about 468. So a very small group of people using Ezybonds. And then on top of that, the number of page views are very small as well, 936. That basically means somebody is reaching the site, clicking on login, logging in, and removing themselves from the web page altogether. I mean, we're looking at 2, maybe 3 page views per visitor, depending on, some visitors might even have 1 page view. But there's not really a lot of activity going on there at this website. Very small activity. So a very small group of people using Ezybonds, and I think that Allan Endresz intends it that way because then he could take advantage of just one small group of people at a time. Now, as far as some reviews of Ezybonds, this is scamadvisor.com. ScamAdvisor has some people actually listing some comments. One of these people says, "I'm beginning to think this is not a trustworthy site. I deposited money and it cleared my bank over 2 weeks ago, and it is still pending in my account. I have asked for support's help and it doesn't seem to do any good. They keep closing my request and keep putting it in another one. If anyone has an answer or can help, I would truly appreciate it." And then they sign their name. Someone else says, "This is a company full of cheater. There's lazy and useless top management officer. What a stupid company, not trustworthy at all. I have withdrawn my money and after 2 weeks it rejected my withdrawal, and they return my service fee but not total withdrawal amount. Secondly, this company is not working in standard operating in most of the procedures. Please teach me how to lodge report to international counsel who can take actions against this company." He also says, "Who are interested to see the proofs of this company is suck. I have a lot of transaction proofs and conversations between support and manager in charge. They are BS. Reply from them. I don't mind to share it to all." Let's take a look at their profile on Facebook just so you can see the kind of person this is. Scrolling up, this is what this person looks like. He's out of Malaysia, so English is not his primary language, but he is a business person. And he's a person who Ezybonds has felt they could take advantage of this person. And they certainly have, and he is not happy with Ezybonds whatsoever. On my own website, I've had a number of people reporting to me last year that there were a lot of different problems, and when those problems were going on, I was being told by Ezybonds that they were moving banks or making changes from processors. Here's a comment from somebody saying, "Does anyone have light to shed on the Ezybonds withdrawal situation? From the processor to the bank, not from AdHit Profits to the processor. I'm aware that they are reportedly going through some changes of some description, but mid-July, I had my pending request returned to my account, and now some 6 weeks later, I still have my request pending to go to my bank. Has anyone had a successful withdrawal to their bank, especially in the UK?" So this is somebody that is commenting on this in July, and they've been having problems since July, trying to access money from Ezybonds. Here's another person that says, "I just want to say, for me, Ezybonds has been nothing but a nightmare. I sent my money in June, and it cleared my bank weeks ago, and I'm still in pending. I have contacted support so many times and got nothing but the runaround. 5 days ago, they confirmed they had received my money, and yet to this day, I am still in pending." And I can keep going down more and more. See, here's another comment here where it says, it appears the website is offline. Ezybonds is not working for them. Just a number of people that just say, "Does anyone else have a bank charge of $25 to wire money to Ezybonds?" So as you're looking at Ezybonds' website, fast, safe, and inexpensive, you start to see that it's actually slow. It's causing people to feel worried, have some concern, and it's costing people extra money. There's just so many of these that I can keep going on more and more and more and more. about people just feeling that this is very worrisome. It's causing them some stress. They're wondering what is really going on over there. And everyone seems to be asking, has anyone else received money? And a lot of people were saying no. A lot of people were expressing that they too are experiencing quite a runaround using Ezybonds services. Now, when you go to the login page, first let me go ahead and step back for just a moment, because when you go to here's my blog, and you'll see this in the description. You'll see that here's this important announcement, this 22nd of May 2014. The thing is originally that note said that all transactions for bank account verifications, bank withdrawals, and cash loading were turned off until the 1st of July due to the magnitude of upgrades that they were having on their website. Now, I just want you to just pause there for just a second and realize that there is no legitimate payment processor, bank, or money transmitter in the world that would turn off transactions for any amount of time, period. They just don't. If they need to upgrade their system, they'll upgrade it off to the side, but it will not interrupt their daily business. And the main reason why is because these banks and money transmitting services, they make their money moving money. If money isn't moving, then they have now lost out on profits. And they have business overheads and expenses, paying employees, things like that. They can't just freeze all of their business assets and leave them and keep them from being able to be accessed by their customers. So that's something to really pay close attention to. There's no legitimate payment processor that would turn that off. Now, it's also very important to understand as well, and if you read my full blog, you'll know that in my full experience with Ezybonds, they have given multiple excuses and reasons throughout time for not transferring money. And all of these delays and turning withdrawals back on, that is once again just a sure sign of the fraud and the criminal activity that Allan Endresz and his whole entire family have been involved in. And so it's really quite sad that his parents had their estates sequestrated too, but it seems like it's a money that they're just a fraudulent family is what it really looks like, is that there's not an honest one in the bunch, unfortunately. But definitely read over this information, because there's quite a lot of facts about his background, all of the things that I'm not talking about in this video because I'm trying to keep this as short as I possibly can. But the thing is, with this update now, it's now saying the 25th of August. So as you can see, it says that they're planning to turn the transfers back on the 15th of August. Okay, so that's the main reason for showing you that. He's now saying that transfers won't be turned on until the 11th of September through the 30th of September. So this has gone on publicly, but behind the scenes a lot longer than this, but since May 22nd of 2014, where they have continually moved the date forward when people will be able to access their money. So if you have transferred money or were intending to use that money to pay rent or your living expenses or business expenses, you'll have a difficulty meeting your own financial obligations while you're waiting for money to come out of Ezybonds. And that's if they actually ever transfer. Because all I've experienced since July of 2013 is just one string of excuse after another, until now what they're saying is they're accusing me of running some kind of a pyramid scheme. And this is actually documented also in the news. The Border Mail contacted me, and they were recognizing that I was talking about Allan Endresz on the internet, and they wanted to do a story. And so I explained to them that he's actually withholding $437,305 from my business. And Allan Endresz says, just like right here, is they don't owe anything because I'm running a pyramid scheme, which is absolutely false. Like what I've said, it's a confusing web of lies. A lot of people, and this is what Allan Endresz looks like. To me, that looks like a perfect role if he was to cast for a pirate role in a movie. He looks like a really wonderful pirate, Mr. Smee type of person, dishonest through and through to his bones. I mean, he just is, wow, he would just really make a great pirate. Now, as far as his explanation about a pyramid scheme, let's turn to the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission, that a pyramid scheme is making money basically recruiting new people into the program. There's not a sale of any service. There's not a sale of any property. There's nothing that you receive for your purchase other than you're giving money to someone else and getting others to do the same. And it is through getting others to do the same that you are supposed to be able to make some money. Sometimes people look at this and say it's multi-level marketing. The main difference between legitimate multi-level marketing and a pyramid scheme is multi-level marketing is actually a sales model where you are now a sales representative selling a true product or service or property for a price that's actually comparable and competitive in the marketplace for that product, service, or property. And so when you sell it, then you're able to earn a commission. And so you can work from home or anywhere in the world to sell their products and services, but the buyer is actually receiving something. And so that way you can actually sell these products and services to both people who want to get involved with the business opportunity and people who just want to get the service or the product. They want to take advantage of your offer. So that's what makes it legitimate, is when someone actually receives something for their money. Here's the state of Utah, and the reason I'm bringing this up is because I am in the state of Utah. And the pyramid scheme here is, it says it's any sales device or plan under which a person gives consideration or money to another person in exchange for compensation or the right to receive compensation, which is derived primarily from the introduction of other persons into the sales device or plan rather than from the sale of goods, services, or other property. So it's the same kind of definition really between the SEC and the state of Utah. They carry the same definition. This is just maybe made a little bit more clear and understandable. Some people have a really hard time understanding legal jargon. And so what I'll do is I'll map this out for you. Let's say, for example, this is an individual who says, you know what, I'd like to start a business. I want to start making money, but I don't have a product, service, or anything. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to just tell someone, hey, if you give me $100, then you can turn around and sell it to other people. And so he sells this idea to this individual. This individual pays his $100 to this guy first, before he can refer other people. And so the idea behind a pyramid scheme is that if he pays him $100, then what he can do is turn around and sell the same idea to 3 people or more, or unlimited number of people really, and get $100 cash from each and every single one of them. So this guy is supposedly supposed to be out of profit or out of pocket $100, but then he's now in profit if he sells to 3 people, $200 profit, because he's made $300 back and he's out of an expense of $100. So that's where these huge returns are being talked about in a pyramid scheme. Is these people, they've really purchased nothing. They have received nothing, except now they're at a loss of $100, and the only way that they can make more money or make any money at all is if they in turn around and sell their scheme to more and more people, who then again didn't receive anything. And that's what makes it illegal, is because you're not really selling anything. It's taking advantage of people, trying to sell a hope, a dream, and hopefully have them repeat it so that they're not at complaints to you. But that's not how my business operates at all. How does AdHit Profits operate? When you go to adhitprofits.com, what you'll notice is that we are an advertising website. We sell real advertising services. So right there, that's where we're distinguished from pyramid schemes just immediately. But we'll go through step by step and point out exactly that this isn't a pyramid scheme whatsoever. people are actually buying real services. And it was what you can see here with the Alexa traffic rank. We actually compare quite well with the #1 top traffic exchanges in the world, with having a lot of visitors to the website. So when people are buying these banners on the website, they're not just buying nothing or air or space. They're buying an actual location where thousands of visitors are coming every single day, and their eyes will meet their banners. And the really great thing about these banners is that people are only paying for the clicks that they are receiving on their banners. The banner will continue to display until every single one of those clicks have been used up. So that right there pretty much clears up that it's not a pyramid scheme. But let's go to how it works. Again, how it works, it displays all of the products, or all of the services that we're offering. The pricing. Now you can say, some of these pyramid schemes, what they do is they maybe sell an ebook or something like that, trying to get away with it legally. But the ebook is worth pennies, or not even worth the paper they're printed on, But they're selling for $100 or $200 or $1,000, and so they're saying, no, we're selling a real product or real something, but it's just vastly overpriced. But the thing is with ad hit profits is 2,500 visitors to a website are being sold for $5. That is absolutely a great deal. It's a great offer. It's something that has been mathematically mapped out so that we can actually provide that service at a margin of profit versus at a loss. And so with everything with ad hit profits, we actually share the profits with people who click ads in our traffic exchange. So it's a traffic exchange service. People click their 25 ads minimum to receive in the sharing of revenue. And when they click more visitors, they're going to receive 2 credits for every, or actually 1 credit for every 2 sites that they click on. So half a credit. Now, if you upgrade your account to VIP membership, then you actually get 1 credit to 1 site served, and instead of serving 25 ads, you serve just 10. So real service, a real benefit to purchasing this. Also, VIP members are able to post new topics in our forum, which have great search engine optimization advantages because of the amount of traffic that we get to our website. So there's a lot of real great things about ad hit profits, the real services that we offer. And so when people are purchasing these services, they were using Ezybonds to make those payments. And so that's what Ezybonds is saying, is that they're not going to provide our members with their affiliate earnings, because each affiliate can also earn 10% on commissions for every sale that they bring into the site. So people aren't able to get their earnings out of Ezybonds, and Ezybonds has not allowed me to gain access to my account and funds to make sure that my members' earnings are also supported through other payment processors. Because as a business, you want to make sure that your business funds are safe and secure, and I was able to determine that having them in Ezybonds, they weren't safe and secure, so I started to really want to get my funds out of there and make sure that I could manage my own company's funds in the way that I would like to, instead of in panic mode, worrying and wondering if those funds are gone. And actually those funds belong to my members. And that's the real scary thing about it all. So definitely take a look at the link underneath this video. Really read through this information. I mean, if you're really considering using Ezybonds, one of the things just to point out is he still owes Western Bulldogs $300,000. It's a debt outstanding since the year of 2008. Meanwhile, he's gone on to sponsor more people. Now, if you're familiar with a lot of the different fraudulent people who are like this, they stand out in the community with prestige, and they try to win the hearts of their community over by sponsoring and donating and doing these things, but they're really probably donating money from other people's money, and that's why these people who have accounts at Ezybonds, they're not able to access their account funds. I believe it's because he's been too busy spending their money instead of actually using the money and keeping it in trust for these people. So I'm going to leave the link to this blog underneath this video. Search out Allan Endresz. You'll see quite a lot of information about him. This is a company you really want to stay away from. quite honestly. You can see that I'm not just sharing malicious opinions about the owner or about Ezybonds. These are facts, real things going on in the news, real things that Allan Endresz has done, real companies that are put at risk, real people who have been put at risk. And if you look through all of his court history, you'll find that there are a lot of people who have some real sad stories that Allan Endresz really took advantage of them. So definitely thanks for your time for watching this video. Subscribe if you want. I'll probably, if I release another video, then you can receive a notice that that I've uploaded something new. But my recommendation, just stay away from Ezybonds. And if you can, if you've been involved with Ezybonds, if you're a victim of Ezybonds, report Allan Endresz to as many authorities as you possibly can, because together we can make a difference.